The tragic death of Abdul Jalil, the beloved Prince of Johor, at the age of 25 left a permanent mark on Malaysia. As the second son of Sultan Ibrahim, he was a respected and powerful figure in Malaysian royalty. Why did this young, beloved royal die? Stick around to find out. Abdul Jalil was born in July 1990. He was the second son of Sultan Ibrahim Ismail of Johor. His birth was an occasion of great joy. It was celebrated throughout the state. The name Abdul Jalil means servant of the Almighty in Arabic, and it carries great significance. From his birth, it was clear that his parents had high hopes for him to follow in the family's tradition of service, humility, and leadership. Raised in the royal palace, Abdul Jalil was trained in the values of nobility and responsibility from his childhood days. His father, Sultan Ibrahim, and mother, Raja Zarith Sophia, were well respected for their philanthropic engagements, and these morals inculcated upon the young prince a sense of duty toward his people. Unlike some children of privilege, Abdul Jalil showed unusual modesty, with a down-to-earth personality that made everyone around him love him. His early education spoke volumes of his parents' commitment to ensuring that he received nothing less than an awareness of the world outside the palace walls, in addition to academic knowledge. He attended some of the elite schools in Johor, where he turned out to be brilliant in his studies while retaining a curious mind. With time, the pressures of royal life would dawn on him. He was expected to step into positions within the administration or take up public-facing duties as part of the legacy regarding the family. But young Abdul Jalil had a surprise in store for many once he came of age. He made a choice that was unconventional from most traditional royalty. Besides all the heavy responsibilities and expectations that came with his status as a prince, Abdul Jalil liked studying the natural world. He loved animals, especially reptiles, which made him make a decision that was really unusual for his position. After graduating from the state school in Johor, Abdul Jalil opted not to join the royal administration or pursue a career in political science, but instead to become a zoo caretaker at the Singapore Zoo. At the reptile house in the zoo, he handled snakes and other animals with great curiosity. His humility and passion earned him the respect of his colleagues. Abdul Jalil's decision to work hands-on with animals was a very unusual choice for a royal, but it underlined his deep commitment to the environment. This decision was only the beginning of what was going to be his lifelong dedication to animal welfare. Desiring a more comprehensive knowledge of the field, Abdul Jalil continued his studies in zoology at the renowned Zoological Society of London. His time in the UK gave him a more general understanding of wildlife conservation, and he graduated with honors after 2 years of intense study. This academic success was not only a testament to his intellectual ability, but also to the determination with which he wanted to make a difference in a field in which his passion lay. Upon his return to Malaysia, Abdul Jalil continued his research on animals. He collaborated with the Orangutan Rehabilitation Center in the Kabili Sepilok Forest Reserve and contributed to Malaysia's protection of wildlife. Due to his contributions, many people in the environmental community, locally and internationally, held him in high esteem. However, his passion for helping others did not start and end with animals. As time passed, Abdul Jalil gravitated more towards helping the people of Malaysia, which was a calling that put him on a different path. Even while having a burning passion for zoology, Abdul Jalil had an even greater calling: to help the people of Malaysia directly. At the age of 21, he shocked his family and the nation by announcing his decision to join the Royal Malaysian Police Force. Considering his standing, this was quite an unusual and very unconventional move for a prince. His decision was proof of his character and determination to protect and serve his countrymen, not just from a position of privilege, but by standing alongside them in their struggles. Abdul Jalil enrolled in the esteemed Royal Malaysian Police Training Center, where he received the same rigorous training as any other recruit. He received no special treatment during his training, meeting the demanding standards of the program. His service in the police was characterized by his deep sense of justice and his strong commitment to the well-being of the people. The prince never saw his role as ceremonial. Instead, he plunged headlong into his work, serving in various capacities that brought him into the hearts of ordinary Malaysians. Till today, he remains an example to people everywhere. Abdul Jalil's love for public service did not end with the police. It had been only a few months into his role as a police officer when he ventured into an even more challenging task. He joined Malaysia's Elite Special Actions Unit, a special elite division of the police force that handles counter-terrorism operations and takes on high-risk operations. In order to pass the grueling tests necessary to become a member of this unit, Abdul Jalil undertook grueling physical and mental training. At 23, he became the first member of a royal family to serve in Malaysia's special forces ever. Service in the police force and the elite unit was not a job to the prince. It was a calling that enabled him to protect the country and its citizens. Behind the public persona of a devoted prince and officer, Abdul Jalil lived a personal life full of passion and challenges. From a young age, he had a lot of interests aside from his life as royalty. Of the things he enjoyed doing in his personal life, Abdul Jalil was an avid sailor. However, unlike the many royals who enjoyed cruising around on big, luxurious yachts, Abdul Jalil enjoyed small sailboats. Sailing to him was much more than a hobby. It was a way to connect with the young population in the country, and he used it as a means to introduce them to the world of competitive sports. At the age of 23, Abdul Jalil founded the Liga Layar Malaysia, or Malaysian Sailing League, a series of sailing regattas that he hoped would develop the next generation of Malaysian sailors. His sailing program opened the door for more than 5,000 young Malaysians to learn how to sail and compete in national events, a significant portion from poorer backgrounds. These initiatives ignited a national appeal for sailing. The emphasis on youth development was a testament to his great desire to uplift others and give something back to his country. Despite his successes, Abdul Jalil faced many personal challenges throughout his life. As a member of the royal family, so much was expected from him. He had always had an enormous burden to excel as a prince and as a public figure, balancing tradition and duty with the need to have some personal aspirations. Adding to these pressures, in late 2014, Abdul Jalil received horrible news. He had stage 4 liver cancer. Despite the prognosis, Abdul Jalil refused to let the illness define him. For the months that followed, the prince displayed remarkable resilience, continuing his public service work and philanthropic efforts while quietly battling his illness. His positivity and dedication during this time became an inspiration to everyone around him, particularly as his health continued to decline. In late 2014, when Malaysia was experiencing one of the worst monsoon seasons that history could ever remember, with severe floods displacing more than 200,000 people, Abdul Jalil was working around the clock, raising funds and co-coordinating relief efforts. He did all this despite the worsening effects of his illness. It was during that time that the nation finally began to understand just how bad his condition was. Abdul Jalil became a skeleton of his former self, constantly tired. He received treatment from the best medical professionals, yet never lost his spirit for the cause. Finally, he was airlifted to China, where he underwent liver transplantation at Guangdong Sun Yat-sen University. Though initially the transplantation was successful, later it turned out that the cancer had spread beyond imagination. Abdul Jalil entered palliative care in his last months, aware that he did not have much time to live. He was already then a source of positivity, even joking around with the hospital staff while doing all he could to lighten up someone else's mood. One viral video captured Abdul Jalil in the hospital, playfully trying to dodge a nurse's attempt to give him his medicine. Lighthearted as it was, it reduced thousands of Malaysians to tears. And it wasn't just the humor of the prince that touched people. It was because, even as death approached, he still carried the burden of his illness with a dignity and strength few knew possible. At age 25, Abdul Jalil breathed his last breath on December 5th, and a whole nation was plunged into grief. Indeed, it was the ultimate deluge of sorrow as thousands of Malaysians bade their farewell to their reckoned Prince Charming, who had lived a life of service, compassion, and acts of courage. On December 5th, 2015, at just 25 years old, Abdul Jalil passed away, leaving behind a heartbroken nation. His death was met with an outpouring of grief as thousands of Malaysians bade their goodbye to their reckoned Prince Charming, who had lived life in service to compassion and acts of courage. Tributes flowed from every quarter in honor of the young prince who had touched the lives of everyone. His humility, compassion, and service had made him dear to the public, and his untimely death only deepened that sense of loss. His body was interred at the Mahmudiyah Royal Mausoleum. The burial site is reserved for the most honored members of the royal family. Even in death, Abdul Jalil's legacy inspires and uplifts the people of Malaysia. His death inspired his father, Sultan Ibrahim, to do something good in memory of his son, something that would be useful to the people of the nation for years to come. The Sultan led the establishment of the Tunku Laksamana Johor Cancer Center, named for Abdul Jalil, who had lost his life to the disease. Based in Johor Bahru, it has become one of Southeast Asia's cutting-edge cancer treatment facilities. Its mission, Fight Like Jalil, is a call to action for those fighting cancer, which is the embodiment of the brave spirit of the prince despite his illness. Every year, thousands are being treated at the center, affording them access to the best medical attention and care. To many patients, it is a lease on life, while to others, it is a soothing balm in their last days. Through this institution, Abdul Jalil continues to make a difference, his commitment to service and compassion remaining the guiding force. Though short-lived, His life's impression continues to shape the future face of health, not only within Malaysia, but beyond. But before we wrap up Abdul Jalil's incredible story, did you know there's another royal tale that shocked the world? Imagine going from a life of poverty in America to waking up as royalty in Malaysia, overnight. You won't believe how it happened, and trust me, the details are wild. If you think Abdul Jalil's life was surprising, wait till you hear about this one. Click on the screen to uncover the jaw-dropping story of how an ordinary American found themselves seated on the royal throne. What really happened? You've got to see it to believe it.